Picture a world covered in snow where woolly mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, and giant ground sloths roam the land. According to Sandy Eldridge and Bob Bieck in a 2010 article by the Utah Geological Survey, this is what it was like during one of Earth's 5 ice ages, a time when the world naturally cooled to temperatures 40 degrees colder on average than the climate today. Today, the mainstream media is preoccupied with the climate change crisis, but it's not a crisis at all. As we can see with the planet's history of periodic ice ages, the Earth's climate is constantly naturally changing. Governments from around the world are funneling billions of dollars into research and prevention of climate change, where there are many more issues that deserve those resources and immediate attention. First, I will explain to you how climate change is a natural, non-urgent occurrence. Though many sources in the media propagate climate change and global warming as man-made disasters whose consequences are on the horizon, there are many in the science world who disagree. In a 2010 article for the Climate Depot, Mark Morano reports that over 1,000 scientists from around the world have contested man-made global warming claims. They argue that climate change is natural and not a human-caused environmental catastrophe. Furthermore, as exemplified through the earlier references to Earth's ice ages, our planet has always gone through drastic climate fluctuations. Researchers at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, in a 2003 study covering the climate of the last 1,000 years, found that the weather of the past few decades is not any warmer than that of a millennium ago, nor is it the most extreme in climate changes. While these studies and more combat the popular narrative of man-made climate change, many resources are still being focused on researching the issue and attempting to find a solution for the natural phenomenon. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, their budget for 2016 was over $8.2 billion just for that year alone. Though there are copious amounts of evidence contradicting global warming, billions of dollars are going towards researching climate change, funding energy sources alternative to fossil fuels, and financing advertisements debasing climate change to the public. This information shows that, though there is scientific evidence that argues that Earth's climate naturally changes regardless of human interference, huge amounts of capitals are being wasted on global warming initiatives in the United States. Now, let's discuss what there is to gain by reallocating climate change resources into more urgent and legitimate national concerns. First, based on the United States Census Bureau's 2015 estimates, the University of California's Poverty Research Center reported that in 2015, approximately 13.5% of the U.S. population was living in poverty. This equates to an estimated 43.1 million Americans living below the poverty level. Furthermore, while global warming proponents advocate for an end to the use of fossil fuels, studies show that the oil and natural gas industry is vital to the American economy. According to the American Petroleum Institute, in its 2016 annual report, the industry supports 9.8 million jobs and makes up over 8% of the United States' total gross domestic product. Instead of channeling over $8 billion into the EPA and climate change organizations, this money could be used to reduce poverty in the United States and solve present-day issues affecting citizens in a way that climate change never could. The oil and gas industry's growth would also supply more jobs. Basically, instead of shutting down the oil industry, supporting its growth as well as using climate change resources towards fighting poverty would further go towards solving economic hardships as opposed to wasting capital fighting a natural change in the Earth's climate. Now that we see that climate change is natural and its resources would be better spent elsewhere, let's look at the positive results of denying climate change. Once money is diverted from climate change initiatives, resources can be put into welfare programs, helping to reduce the poverty rate and minimize suffering. Supporting the oil and natural gas industry will not only save existing jobs, but create future jobs, bolstering the United States economy and further contributing to its gross domestic product each year. We can see how being skeptical towards popularized beliefs concerning global warming and looking at the history of natural climate change can help solve current-day problems and end the suffering of millions of people. Now, what can we do to help make this change happen? There is a lot of scientific and historical evidence that supports the argument that climate change is natural, not man-made, and is not an impending disaster. However, billions of dollars are still being used to research global warming and alternative energy sources. If we were to divert these resources into welfare programs and supporting the oil industry, the rate of poverty in America would decrease and the economy would grow. As citizens, you can write your congressman or congresswoman to support the oil and natural gas industry and to work to end the wasteful use of resources on climate change propaganda. After all, compared to the ice ages, the change in weather we are experiencing today is laughably minimal. Just like climate change, wanting to make a difference is natural, and now you know how to do so without breaking a sweat.